At the snap of my fingers, you will start watching this segment. Hey, it worked. Now, hypnotherapy is a form of therapy that is growing more and more popular. People are turning to this form of mind control to help them kick bad habits, lose weight, and turn their lives around. Joining us now in the Google Hangout to discuss, we have Colin Christopher, a clinical hypnotherapist in Edmonton, Canada. Sammy Kure, she used hypnosis to improve her athletic performance. Sandra Smith-Larson, who used hypnotherapy to lose weight. And Dawn Andrews, she tried hypnotherapy to cure her sleeping problems. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Well, Dawn, you did more than just try hypnotherapy to cure your sleeping problems. Before you turned to hypnotherapy, you went to every single type of way to fix this problem under the book.
I tried everything. My problem is that I could fall asleep, but I can't stay asleep. So I don't have the luxury of taking a sleeping pill or some other kind of supplement that's going to keep me asleep for a long period of time. And so, and I've tried aromatherapy, I've tried going to doctors, I've tried supplements, I've tried everything. And until I ran into Colin and he helped me, it was truly amazing.
So how has Colin, and specifically Colin's hypnotherapy, how has it helped you? How did you go from not sleeping to sleeping like a baby?
I don't know. You have to ask Colin. I honestly don't know how it works. I don't know. I was very skeptical in the beginning because I have a lot of friends that were making fun of me. Like, I can't believe you would do that. And I've been to shows where, I've seen hypnotists put people to sleep and do crazy things. And it's just, I'm not that kind of person. And so I was very skeptical. And when I met Colin, he really convinced me to just try it. I had nothing to lose. And I don't know how it works. All I know
so do you go into his office, or do you talk to him on the phone?
No, I purchased the download. He has the download. I put it on my phone, and almost every night I sleep with Colin.
Colin, do you have a lot of people sleeping with you? Or are you just out there sleeping with a bunch of people?
Yeah, well, there's quite a few people, and I get phone calls from angry husbands every so often. But most of the time, it's pretty friendly. People are pretty happy with what I give them.
Oh, so when you got into hypnotherapy, what was the impetus? Did you think that you would be helping to cure people from their problems, or what made you interested in starting hypnotherapy as your passion and just career?
Well, I actually saw a show when I was, it was about 16 years ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. And so I started reading up on it, finding out more about it. And from there, I actually started testing it out on my friends to see how well it would work, if it was real. And then I decided to start performing. And from there, I wanted to really use it to help people. So I went and took hypnotherapy training, became a hypnotherapist, and then started doing the hypnotherapy in conjunction with my hypnosis shows.
Well, and so when you started this and you're meeting all these people, you have these success stories. You also have people who you're able to help get over unusual habits. What is the most unusual thing that you've accomplished in your career as a hypnotist?
Oh, there's quite a few. I mean, some of the more challenging and fun ones were some post-traumatic stress syndrome, getting over fears and phobias. There's like snakes and spiders and fear of flying. I've helped a lot with. And then for guys, I've actually helped quite a few guys improve their sexual performance. Like they've had the impotence, and so we had to help them out with that.
Oh, interesting. And there are many different ways. I know that Dawn mentioned tapes. What are other ways that hypnotherapy can be passed along to the individual in need?
There's different ways. You can do it either by phone, one-on-one session, in person when you're geographically available. I travel a lot, so I'm doing a lot more stuff over the phone now. Skype works sometimes depending on internet connection, as well as you can do video hypnosis as well.
Well, it's interesting the things that people want to change about themselves. There are common themes. We have a wonderful community member, Camille Santochi, who's a AP producer here. I did hypnotherapy to eat healthier. The hypnotherapist tried to make it so junk food would taste like dirty Band-Aids to me. Didn't work for me, but Sandra, when you were coming for weight loss, I don't think that your hypnotherapy involved a dirty Band-Aid taste.
Oh, no.
Tell us your story.
Well, I met Colin back in 2011, and we talked for a long time, and I decided to buy his CD, but I didn't actually listen to it till about a year later. And I started listening to it, and I didn't even realize that it was him. But I stopped eating. I stopped pigging out. I stopped going out for, chocolate and bad food. And before I knew it, I lost like 60 pounds in maybe 6 or 8 months. A combination of Colin and some mental toughness. And then I saw skin that was really loose. And I'm like, that's it. I'm not losing any more weight. And I quit. And I stayed the same weight for a few months, and I started gaining again. And then I realized, I got to get back on the horse here. And I found a great diet, isogenics, and I'm back on that. I'm back to losing weight. I've lost another 20 pounds so far. And the skin tightened, and Colin's helping me. I listened to this. I got the download now because back when I quit, I threw away the CD or lost it or something. But then I got another download, and at least 2 or 3 times a week, I'll sleep with Colin.
Well, I mean, so what's happening, Colin, without giving away, obviously, trade secrets, what is it about this communication technique keeps people working towards their goals?
Well, it's really about reprogramming people's subconscious mind. Like the subconscious mind works, it works on imagination. So if you program it with new imagination, what I do is I make people think a little bit differently. I make them think like people who are thin and who are eating healthy and doing things that maintain health and maintain their weight. So when I reprogram their subconscious mind, they think that way, and then they start doing the things that are necessary to lose the weight.
So, okay, so in Sandra's example, so you obviously, like our commenter, when you think about junk food, you don't think about Dirty Band-Aids, but what do you think about now when you're in the grocery aisle?
I don't even think about thinking. It's like I just naturally gravitate towards the healthier food, and I'm not even aware that I'm doing it anymore. It's amazing because it's not hard. It's just, it's a combination. If you add some mental toughness to it and you add a really healthy nutritional diet, and then you have this program in the back of your head, you're thinking like a thin person, so you're eating like a thin person, and it's just easy to go and pick the foods that you need.
Dawn, I see you shaking your head.
Well, because I hear Colin in my head a lot. But it is, when you ask me, I don't know how he does it. I really don't. And people ask me all the time, like, I can't believe you'd fall for that. I'm like, just try it. It is amazing. But it's a relaxation tape that I listen to. And I don't think I've ever gotten through the entire, I don't even know how long it is. But it is, and I don't know how it works. I just know I had a sleeping problem before I met Colin. And after buying his download, I no longer have a sleeping problem.
Well, Colin, it's interesting because when you go to the doctor, you say, I have this health problem. Generally, you want to know how the solution is happening. When it's through a pill, you want to know what pill you're taking. If it's through a surgery, you want to know what organ they're taking out or what they're putting in. Is there something about hypnotherapy that people are just like, oh, it's okay, I don't know how it works, but it just does?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it really is just about getting somebody to put into a deep state of relaxation. Once they're in a deep state of relaxation, their brainwaves lower. So what's happening is it's sort of like, it's very similar to sleep. If you've ever seen a hypnosis show or seen somebody hypnotized, if you haven't, you can kind of just Google pictures and you'll see them falling asleep kind of thing. And so what happens is their brainwaves are slowed down. And when they're slowed down, their subconscious mind is more easily programmed. So when they're slowed down and you're programming them, you can just put whatever directed suggestions you want to put in that will override the old thinking habits that the person has.
Well, we have a comment here from David Mark Lane. I had 2 hypnotherapists try to put me under. They could not. It bummed me out. And what happens there? Are there people who are just not able to subscribe to hypnotherapy, even if they truly want to?
There are there's 3 levels of hypnosis. There's low hypnotizable. It's about 15% of the population. It sounds like that's probably what that person found into, although I'm not sure because I wasn't actually present, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. But 70% of the population is mid-hypnotizable. The 3 people we have on, Dawn, Sandra, and Sam, they're in that category. And then there's the high hypnotizable, about 15%. And those people, they go so deeply that they zone out. It's almost like they're catatonic, and they take a long time to hypnotize and wake up and those kinds of things. But that's pretty much what's going on. It's just a different level of trance for each of those types of people.
We actually have another comment from Rona Barry Morin about what we were mentioning earlier. Did I hear the panelists correctly? There's video hypnotherapy. Is there video hypnotherapy?
Yeah, I've only seen it on YouTube. I don't personally do it because it's just not something I've actually pursued. But I have seen it on things like YouTube. So I don't know how good it works, but I know it's available and there are people that do it.
Well, in your thoughts, what is the most effective type of hypnotherapy?
Typically, the most effective is when you're in an office one-on-one, so the person can see you and interact properly. You can do it over the phone. It just usually takes longer. But one-on-one, because there's so many different aspects to hypnotherapy, being able to touch the person so you can anchor things, like touching them on the shoulder or on the head or those kinds of things, to make the therapy go faster. But if you're on the phone, it's probably the next best thing because you can still hear them. A lot of it is by voice and how things sound. I mean, the recordings that most people listen to, it is just pretty much voice and music. So it's very effective that way. But the most effective is definitely one-on-one.
Well, I'm glad that we have Sammy here with us because, Sammy, you've gotten the opportunity to actually have hypnotherapy on a one-on-one in-person basis. Can you tell us how hypnotherapy has changed your life?
It's quite dramatic, actually. It just helps you to really focus and balance your life. It also gives you a lot of opportunity to, I guess, improve in a lot of areas of your life. So it's I became a clinical hypnotherapist in 2007 because of Colin. I do a child protection worker. So I worked with a lot of clients, and I worked for years in domestic violence. So I knew the kind of situations that people had a lot of difficulty overcoming, even through going to counseling and attending counseling for a number of years. And I found the hypnotherapy was really quick, and it was so personal. And it wasn't about enabling clients, but it's about to work on yourself at a subconscious level, and you discover those things that created the barriers for yourself. So with Colin, he actually helped me to improve my counseling with my clients, right? Because you become so much aware of the barriers that people have, and you start to even talk to them a little bit differently and understand them a little bit differently.
And how so? Because it's interesting because you're working with individuals who obviously their brains are very full of stress, anxiety, and the nuances of being impoverished and in abusive situations often. So how does the hypnotherapy help you with this group of individuals?
It's the messaging they give themselves, even some of the fears, right? Because you focus on the fear and fear becomes your reality. And I began to understand that more clearly. So it's the messaging that people give themselves. It's the inability to remain stuck and to, whether it be financial or setting up a home on yourself, those fears create barriers for yourself. And if you have a childhood trauma, then what usually happens to people is they have an emotional blockage at at those years. And then what it does is their reactions from childhood comes out when they're an adult, and they're not even aware that they're doing that. So it's like, when you're in a situation and you say, sometimes you get angry or something and you say, oh my goodness, why did I say that? I can't believe I said that. That's because you cease to exist and your child takes over, that child with that bad experience, and that blockage comes to the surface. So I actually started to connect those dots, and which was really helpful for me. And I use Colin's CD myself personally to improve my running performance, because I ran a half marathon in 2009, and it helped me to improve my running speed and time by about 15 to 20 minutes.
So a hypnotherapist, a doctor can prescribe medicine for themselves, like a medical doctor, but a hypnotherapist cannot heal oneself. You need the help of another hypnotherapist to unlock some of your difficulties.
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct. And yeah, it's you learn so much from other hypnotherapists as you're working with others. So it actually improves your service. So Colin was really good with that. I mean, there's a lot of classes that we've taken together, and we do refreshers together. And I really now truly love, I could even call myself a hypno junkie. because it becomes almost an addiction, because it relaxes you, it gives you refocus. And we live, like I live in a life that is extremely fast-paced and always busy. So you really need to kind of learn how to stop that and get grounded and focused again, and which actually helps you focus on your direction and where you're headed. So it was really, really powerful.
That's fascinating. Sandra, are you a hypno junkie?
I don't think so. Colin's the only one I listen to, and it's just, he's amazing. You get used to that voice and that relaxation. It's just wonderful, very deep, very soothing, amazing. Plus, I know him, so that helps.
Well, and we have this interesting comment, Colin, from Helios. The brain is an amazing thing. We've seen time and time again people recovering from supposedly deadly illnesses through meditation alone. Hypnotism is the same concept. What do you think to that? Do you think meditation and hypnotism are on the same page?
It's similar. With meditation, you're typically clearing your mind and trying to remove thought. With hypnosis, you're actually focusing your mind and becoming focused on directed suggestion, so you have specific goals and outcomes that you want to do. But typically, like the brainwave patterns and those kinds of things are very similar.
Well, so, okay, one of the things that people frequently do say, which you address oftentimes, is it just seems too good to be true. It seems like there must be some kind of scam element to hypnotherapy, because you're putting people to sleep, you're enabling them to talk like Britney Spears, you're enabling them to run marathons. What do you say to those skeptics?
Typically, usually when people are skeptic, they don't understand enough about what hypnosis is and how it works. So really, it's about educating the people about what it is, how it works, what happens in it. I mean, up on stage, yeah, I get people to do some weird, fun, crazy stuff. But one-on-one in a therapy setting, it's much different. In a therapy setting, you're sitting down, you have specific goals in mind. You want to, lose weight, quit smoking, improve relationships, athletic performance, whatever it is for you. You're doing something to help yourself, and it's once you understand how it works, it's actually very beneficial.
And I've seen your stuff, and for the individuals who are watching this show, they can go to the resource well, which is underneath this video screen, and check out your website and more information. One of the things I was wondering is, in your shows, you do corporate shows, you do group shows, as well as you have a book, and you have your CDs and your private practice. But you'll get an audience, and you'll say, okay, I want you to walk like Michael Jackson, or I want you to act like Britney Spears. What happens if they don't know who these people are?
Well, typically, I try to pick people that they do know. If they don't know, I also set up the suggestion, like when I'm doing Michael Jackson, I'll tell them, we're going to interview you, and you're going to talk in this nice high voice like Michael Jackson. So even if they don't know who he is, they will speak in a high voice so that it sounds like they're talking like Michael Jackson. I give them specific suggestions to mimic somebody, even if they don't know who it is.
And Sammy, your positive experiences with hypnotherapy encouraged you to become a hypnotherapist as well. Do you think that it's kind of like dating? Do you think you kind of might have to find the right fit, the right hypnotherapist for you? Like there might be someone who might prefer you and your vibe, or there might be someone who might prefer Colin and his vibe.
You know what? I totally agree with that. I think it is sometimes a personal choice. And some people connect easier with others, and the energy's right. So if people are really good with each other's energy and they're receptive to that, and they can, feel like they can trust you, then they're more likely to open up, and they will actually be more likely to go under hypnosis, or be open to the suggestions, right? So I think that it does sometimes. I know I've had clients that have known me and did not want me to know certain things, so they would block, right? So sometimes I found that it's easier to do it with people that you don't know.
That's interesting. And one of the things that's so great, though, is even when you don't know them at first, sometimes they can become very good friends. And I'm grateful that all of you are on here to discuss your expertise and experience with hypnotherapy. I'm also grateful for all of you watching. Please keep watching and checking out what's coming up next in our green rooms, because the conversation always continues here at HuffPost Live. So stay tuned.